Calaroga Shark Media.
From our beach house, where thank goodness we have good Wi-Fi, this is Ballot.
Hey, what are you complaining about? You do one sentence, I do the rest. Anyway, Joe isn't quitting. Let's hit this. Happy July 4th. Joe jumped on a call with staffers and said, "Let me say this as clearly as possibly can, as simply and straightforward as I can. I am running. No one is pushing me out. I'm not leaving. I'm in this race to the end, and we're going to win. Yeah, and I'm not leaving the beach no matter how cold it gets this November." Kamala Harris. Boy, the excitement around her is... do we even have a word for it? Non-existent. The VP said on the same call, "We will not back down. We will follow our president's lead. We will fight and we will win. Joe Biden has devoted his life to fighting for the people of our country. In this moment, I know all of us are ready to fight for him." White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, who clearly drew the short straw, is emphatically swatting down any rumors that President Biden is considering throwing in the towel after his less-than-stellar debate performance against Donald Trump. "The president is not dropping out," Jean-Pierre declared, as if trying to will it into truth through sheer repetition. She spent the better part of the briefing offering up various explanations for Biden's stumbling debate performance. "There was the travel, and the travel led to a cold. We have all been there. It's not unusual. And you push through," she said, making it sound like the president was just battling the sniffles instead of a complete cognitive breakdown on live TV. Jean-Pierre didn't stop there, oh no. She went on to say that things like travel and illness can affect anyone, whether they're 20 or 80, as if the mental fog of jet lag was the main concern here. She insisted that Biden was being upfront about how his age had impacted his performance, almost as if being 81 and struggling to complete a sentence is something we should all just get used to. The White House is working painfully hard to dig Biden out of this mess, finding themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place, much like Biden himself, who seems perpetually stuck between the podium and his next gaffe. One anonymous delegate from Texas confessed to Politico, "I don't know if I could, in good conscience, support him." Another delegate from South Carolina, also anonymous, seemed to be practically crossing their fingers for an open convention. "I'm very quickly reaching a point that I hope his name is not on the ballot to free up that restraint." The drama just keeps building. This South Carolina delegate envisioned the party equivalent of a reality TV show. "I think it would be fantastic for the party. I mean, think about it. People would watch it. It would get the ratings. It has the drama that people would pay attention to. It sounds like they're more interested in creating must-see TV than selecting a viable presidential candidate. Even those who grudgingly support Biden are starting to sound like they're prepping for a funeral rather than a campaign." Irene Bonham from Colorado articulated the new reality. "What I'm really looking at is, how are his appearances now going forward? What does he look like without the prompter? How are things coming together out there in the field?" Essentially, it's become a game of spot the cognitive decline. Half a dozen delegates have Harris on their radar as Biden's potential successor. But let's not kid ourselves. This is far from a done deal. Samantha Hope Herring from Florida pointed out the obvious. If anything like that were to happen, it's more likely than not that our Vice President Kamala Harris would be our candidate. Still, the party's unity is more fractured than a New Year's resolution by February. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has already noped out of the draft efforts. California Governor Gavin Newsom is just popping in to say hi and stand with the president. And Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro is still parroting the "Biden is up to the job" line, as if saying it enough times will somehow make it true. The White House pushed back against a new New York Times report that Joe Biden allegedly told a key ally he's weighing whether to stay in the presidential race. On Wednesday, the New York Times reported an anonymous source saying of Biden, "He knows if he has two more events like that, we're in a different place," referring to last week's presidential debate in which Biden did poorly. Wait a second. Two? If he has two more events like this? How about none? The White House is doing damage control like it's an Olympic sport. We're now in the phase where every offhand comment from an anonymous source turns into a headline, and the administration is left playing whack-a-mole with rumors. Bates's emphatic rebuttal on X, formerly known as Twitter, but let's face it, everyone still calls it Twitter. Nice head, Elon. Is the latest attempt to quash the narrative that Biden's campaign is teetering on the edge. Joe Biden has privately acknowledged how critical the next few days are to his presidential re-election bid, CNN reports. According to the outlet, citing an anonymous source, Biden sees the moment. He's clear-eyed. The source added, "The polls are plummeting, the fundraising is drying up, and the interviews are going badly. He's not oblivious." In a private conversation on Tuesday, Biden allegedly remarked, "I have done way too much foreign policy." It seems Biden's internal monologue is finally syncing with reality. The president is now acutely aware that his campaign is on the brink, facing a trifecta of plummeting polls, evaporating funds, and disastrous interviews. And in a stunning display of self-awareness, he's admitted to what many have been thinking. Perhaps he's focused too much on foreign policy while his domestic campaign is in flames. The candid confession about his foreign policy overindulgence might just be the understatement of the year. It's like the captain of the Titanic remarking that maybe, just maybe, they should have paid more attention to the iceberg warnings. As Biden grapples with the fallout from a woeful debate performance and increasing calls for him to step aside, he's got a mountain of issues to tackle. And it's all unraveling faster than you can say electoral college. The next few days will indeed be critical, not just for Biden's re-election bid, but for the Democratic Party's future. So, as Biden hunkers down and tries to steer this sinking ship, the rest of us are left to wonder if he can navigate these treacherous waters, or if he'll end up marooned on the island of political missteps. That's enough for today. Trump probably did something crazy, but I just want to publish this thing and hit the beach. He'll do something crazy tomorrow. And the next day, watch Joe pull out today and totally nuke everyone's weekend. Portions of today's program were made with the help of AI and a man who can't read the room. Happy 4th. This is exactly what Thomas Jefferson and the gang had in mind.